Maximum Inflation, everything that you need in their inflatable CO2 cartridges, gas for everything inflatable since 1965. Leland Gas Technologies has made the CO2 cartridges that inflate the life jackets used daily by fighter pilots, NASA astronauts, naval seamen, the United States Coast Guard, and offshore powerboat racers worldwide. They all rely on Maximum Inflation's reliability when it is needed the most. Recreational boaters go to West Marine, Cabela's, and Bass Pro stores to rearm their life jackets with Maximum Inflation brand rearming kits designed for your model life jacket and approved by Underwriters Laboratories and the United States Coast Guard.
Mike Stancombe just texted me and said locked out during races.
Locked out during races. Thank you very much, Mike. Good to hear from you, my friend.
As much as he would want to hit that up button. But I think it'll be cool. I mean, how cool would that be that his dad, George, is going to be back in the boat with him?
Oh, absolutely.
And we want to give a shout-out while we're thinking of it to Dominic Stancombe, who I'm pretty sure just won his first go-kart race.
How about that?
And he has raced in Bracket 700 with his dad in a boat named Ella's Nightmare because that was Dominic's grandmother's name.
How about that? You know, while we're talking about people that are very important, how about the men and women of our armed forces here with the United States Coast Guard and also of the law enforcement agencies here in the Middle Keys? The U.S. Coast Guard, 12 boats to 40-member staff, along with the FWC, Florida Wildlife Commission boats that are here, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, the Florida Highway Patrol, City of Marathon Police and Fire Departments, and the Florida Park Service here helping us out as well at Race World Offshore's 7-mile offshore Grand Prix.
And the coolest thing was the guy from the Coast Guard, the local commander who spoke at the drivers' meeting, said, if anyone needs a backup driver, I'm ready to go. So they really I think they really enjoy this because this is not regular stuff for them. You know, these boats are doing some stuff that probably even during an interdiction you're not doing. So
the 7-mile offshore Grand Prix presented by Teasers Entertainment Complex of Key West. We'd like to thank our participating hotels, Skipjack Resort Marina, Captain Pips Marina, Blackfin Resort, and King Sail Resort. Our gold sponsors, Marathon Airport, Key West Airport, Marathon Electric, Two Conks, Charter Fishing, Sunset Grill, and Raw Bar in the city of Marathon. And, of course, as always, with everything that we do here in the Florida Keys, especially in the heart of the Florida Keys, the Monroe County Tourist Development Council. Again, we're looking overhead at our Factory 450R class. Again, these are all big, wide body catamarans. They weigh in at 6,500 pounds.
We're lining up.
Oh, they are lining up. Yes, they are. The
Pace Boat has them.
The supercharged 450R, four-stroke engines.
You're actually almost looking at a reverse view of.
And it got me when I first looked at it. Yeah, you're looking from the inside of the course at them. And again, this is something new they're trying. They're going to line them up, release them, and if a boat gets a 2-boat length lead, it can change a lane and move closer in. It's not all the way through the first turn altogether.
We got a green flag
going, and they are racing.
It looks like, I can't tell. I mean, I know TS Motorsports is lane 1, but who? Okay, now, is that Meade?
There's Montlig on the inside.
It's Montlig. Yeah,
and that could be Meade Family Racing, it looks like, in the center. There's definitely Montlig injury attorneys. You can see the chartreuse top of that boat, and it looks like TS Motorsports speeding up on the inside of Montlig.
I think that's I think
that
that's
is Meade Family Racing. Looks like they have a nose
Sean
out there.
Tarenti and
Look at
Caleb
TS
Meade.
Motorsports on the inside.
And
I don't think anybody has. No one's gotten the enough space to move a lane over. So everybody's got to maintain their lanes heading into this turn.
And after drawing the outside lane at every race in Key West in November, Taylor Sism got the pole to start this year.
How about that? A look from the other side. You can see TS Motorsports in the center. I believe that's Meade Family on the left side.
Meade Family on the left.
That's the new 38 Doug right to the right. There you go. Yes, that's Caleb Meade and Sean Tarenti in the lead, and Meade Family Racing, TS Motorsports, so two 32.9-foot MTIs in 1 and 2 so far as they head into the first turn.
Now that looks like that is enough of an overlap where he could move over if he wants to.
And there's Meade Family Racing in the lead. Montlick going to the outside.
Yep. Let's see if Montlick crosses over here to try to go to the in. And here comes Gladiator Canados. They might go to the inside.
Montlick may have edged into second here.
Yep.
And yes, they have. So they'll take second place. And now setting their sights on Meade Family Racing in the early lead here in the Factory 450R class.
The two youngest drivers in the class, I think Caleb's, 18? And Logan's 19?
I think Caleb's under 18.
Yeah, maybe 17.
Yeah, that's correct. And
he won in his first race last year.
From on top of the X Insurance helicopter, your leaders. Now we get a look at them as they come
towards us.
Yeah, towards up for the official first lap of this race. And what a race between Meade Family Racing and Montlick Injury Attorneys. As they head here to the start-finish line in front of the fans.
Now Montlick crossed over behind to try to take the inside lane here. Let's see if let's hope that running through the Rooster Tail doesn't hurt them later. Because you still don't want to cover your engine in salt water if you can help it.
39 MTI of
Meade
Family Racing in first. Montlick Injury Attorneys in second. In TS Motorsports, MTI Marine Technologies in third.
Gladiator fourth, GC fifth, and Hanks in sixth.
Hank Saloon with a rookie driver for this class, and Nelson Sawyer out of Key West.
Yep, and now Montlick is trying to make an aggressive turn in that sweeping three-pin turn going back out to the outer leg. Meade Family's holding them off. This is where Sean Torrente, being an instructor, can communicate with his driver and tell him exactly what he wants. And from what I hear, he's very good at doing that.
Look at Montlick on the inside.
But here comes...
They've got the inside line, the shorter way around the course. And it looks like Montlick may have edged ahead.
Yeah.
This will be a race down that back stretch heading eastbound.
Now it comes into a question of setup. Uh-oh.
We're just watching a sheriff's boat cruise in front of us. That was the there was no accident on the course. It was law enforcement
when I see it
passing in front of us. There's your overall leader right now. Halfway through lap number 2, the 38 Doug Wright.
Yep.
Ricky Maldonado and Loden Adon. With now about a 3-boat lead over Meade Family Racing.
And let's see what Sean and Caleb have for him here.
They're about halfway through that leg, heading towards turn number 1 now. Now, situating themselves to the outside, Sean Torrente and Caleb Meade.
Now we're back to boats 3 and 3rd and 4th. TS Motorsports in 3rd, and Gladiator Canados in 4th. And 2 wily veterans, John Tomlinson and Michelle Carcenti. And let's see how Michelle attacks this here.
And there you see the MTI and the Doug Wright, the two hulls that are battling each other here. 50-50, 3 MTIs, 3 Doug Wrights racing here today.
Yep.
The MTI going into turn 1 with Taylor Zism and John Tomlinson, the multi-time world champion. Too many to count at this point. I think I don't have enough fingers and toes to count his championships.
And I believe recently married Taylor Zism.
That's very correct. Congratulations. And we look overhead.
Whoa.
This is Meade Family Racing. You could see TS Motorsports.
Went very tight to the pin there.
They're very close to the two leaders. You see the wake of the lead boat, Montlick Injury Attorneys.
Now let's see if TS Motorsports has anything for Meade Family Racing, and Gladiator Canados is still right there. So
what a rookie year for Caleb Meade. And he got in that boat mid-season and picked up wins from the Midwest right out of the gate. Did not race in Key West.
No.
This year they're expecting to run the full campaign and actually race in Key West as we see our leader, Montlick Injury Attorneys. Adon and Maldonado out of Manatee Marine in Palmetto, Florida. Doug Wright Catamaran. And leading after lap number 2. Running about 85 miles an hour.
Meade Family Racing in 2nd. TS Motorsports 3rd. Gladiator Canados fourth. And Hanks is trying to pull up, but right now GC is still fifth with Hanks Saloon in sixth.
All 6 boats within, I'd say, about 12, 15 seconds of the lead. There's your overall leader. Again, we told you, beautifully prepared boat. Maldonado really excited about this brand new build. They've reinforced the 38 Doug Wright tremendously. Extra stringers across the deck. A big bulkhead on the front of the boat.
Now, what did you say about the wing on the rear?
It's extended about 6 inches.
But it's fixed?
It's not? It's a fixed wing.
Interesting.
And he likes it that way. They built some special editions. They found that the water was spinning off the back of the boat and starving the engines a little bit. So they put some deflectors on the back of the boat to keep the
water fed to the motors better.
Exactly. Yeah. And they've also put a new cockpit on that boat, and if you get a good chance to see, it's a very tight window there. They put it was built with a whole bunch of extra carbon fiber. As we look at Gladiator Canados, Michel Carcente and Irvin Grant finished in the top 3 on the podium in Key West at the World Championships. A look from the X Insurance helicopters. We chase those boats.
And I would say Irvin's enjoying this year over last year after he went for a swim on Saturday.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Kudos to him for getting out of that boat, being banged up, and getting right into the factory 450 boat to go out and race again.
Yeah, marathon last year. Was that something or what?
Now here it looks like TS is making a move on Meade Family Racing. Let's see what they have for him. Because this is it has to be the most experienced team on the circuit because they ran a season by themselves before any other boats were out there.
Despite the strong wind running right into it, these boats are carrying very well.
Yep.
Excellent CG on them. All not getting any air at all. They're keeping those boats locked on the water.
And Taylor has certainly turned into quite a pilot of these boats.
Yep. So they get the inside line again.
Yep.
As Montlick did on Meade Family Racing. And we look over, that's GC Racing, I believe, is it? Or do we?
I think that's TS, isn't it?
Yeah, where's Meade?
That was just
there. They are right there. Yeah, that is TS.
So now, he's right in his wash. You got to get out of that.
Yep, he does.
I think Caleb was thinking of trying to go inside, and then Sean said no. And so they were stuck in all that white water for a brief minute, but that's all it takes.
So Meade has moved from first on the very first lap, now back to third. TS Motorsports now in second. And here comes your overall leader, the 38 Doug Wright, Montlick Injury Attorneys.
Reminiscent of the Big East construction with the bright green, but thank you for making it easy to see.
And special shout-out going out to Nikki Montlick, who we talked to yesterday. She joined us on Conktown Live on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio. The Montlick Injury Attorneys law firm really excited to be involved in powerboat racing.
It says TS looks like it was coming off plane for a minute there. Yep.
They are, and now we'll fall back to third place and be passed by Meade.
About 13 seconds for Meade, yep. So Meade Family in third, or second.
Correct.
Gladiator Canados moves up to third. TS Motorsports is off plane. GC Racing is now fourth. Hanks is.
As a look at TS Motorsports, they are down after moving.
They were up in a second and looked like they were.
Moved up from third to second, and now they are stopped in the water. Disappointing day for them. Meade Family Racing now to the left of the screen, and to the right side of the screen was Gladiator Canados. Following from the X Insurance helicopter.
Yeah, when Montlick came by, it was about 13 seconds to Meade Family.
Get another look at them as they run right into the wind now.
Port Motor is down on TS Motorsports.
Montlick Injury Attorneys continuing to lead. They're out on lap number 4 of 11 here in the factory 450R class. So the experimental start, I think it looked well. I didn't really see anything happen where everybody did follow the rule, it appeared.
Now we have Gladiator Canados making a move on Meade. So when you're talking about 11 laps, 50 miles or so, 55 miles. A lot of it is where does the setup come to you the best.
And Michelle Carcente told me that Irvin Grant really came along in that boat last year. It was the first time he'd been in the Cat, and he got blasted out of the boat, the Farnsworth boat, as you mentioned, in the bracketed class that morning, and then he jumped in that boat and ran it. But as the year went on, they had a fantastic chemistry together, and it took them all the way to the podium on the World Championship, 3rd overall.
And we should give credit to Troy Hannon at Supreme Marine. He rigs and maintains that boat. I believe that's the only race boat in his shop, but he's at the races. He and Michelle work really well together, and Irvin as well. So he's been around this sport for a long time, and he was Bobby Moore's chief rigger at Bobby Moore's before he went off and started Supreme. Also a heck of a family guy. Very good girl dad.
He's been involved in some pretty good race teams. I think I remember Mikasuki Racing at one point.
He was with Mikasuki.
Man, it was at a fabulous boat. On top with the X Insurance helicopter is.
Oh, no, family got back by.
Yeah, got to the inside, and Canada's had to go over the wake to the outside as they come back down westbound on the north side, bay side of Marathon.
Now they're going to come back under that.
Yep. They scrubbed a lot of speed there.
Yeah.
And they were just passing Meade family before. Now they're off the pace a little bit. And Meade has a solid hook on second, but they're way behind the leader here.
And Montlick has people on land telling them, take it easy, just run your race. No one's threatening you.
They're about 3.5 minutes into this lap of 5 miles, and we'll give you a speed on them here. Montlick Injury Attorneys continuing to lead, and they turn that lap again right at about 84 miles an hour. So they're running it conservatively, but they are running it well.
Yeah, the attitude looks great. They're not, no one's flying anything or looking. Oh, I should have started the stopwatch on that one.
Here.
But I would imagine that's more than it was. The interval was.
It's definitely.
It's got to be 18 seconds anyway.
Yeah, more than the 13 you had before. Gladiator Canada was in 3rd. Meade Family Racing was in 2nd as they pass by here in front of the fans of the VIP area. GC Racing now up to 4th with Willie Cabeza and Grant Bruggeman.
Van Hanks is in 5th.
Nelson Sawyer and
Edwin Shear.
Edwin Shear is quite a racing lineage of his own. Mellons back in the 80s, thoroughbred racing.
Yeah, thoroughbred power boats, right?
That's right. Yep. And there's a great shot, beautiful new livery on that GC Racing boat. And
the G is for Guillermo, Willie's given name.
And Willie and his family, a tremendous, a nice synergy going on with Grant and his wife Kelly between Lisette and Willie. And
it's an interesting thing that MTI does with the boats is they have what's called a concierge program. And they maintain the boats. They get them to the races. Grant does do some testing and things at his shop, but it's still part of that concierge program where you sign up, they bring the boats in, you drive it, you give it back to them.
Look at Hanks. Hanks looks to be a little bit off power here.
Yeah.
Nelson Sawyer jumping on the wheel in that boat for his good buddy Lee Murray of the Hog's Breath teams. He's raced many other boats. He won a world championship in Super V in 2002 on the Nick Carter Racing team.
Yep, and then he was a tenacious competitor with Scott Grigger in Hog's Breath in the A-class.
Yeah, absolutely.
The battles they had with Nigel Hook and the Archer Scarab and Frank
Marine?
Frank's Marine, Frank Aroa. Those were some great battles to watch in the old offshore A-class.
All right, live coverage here on Race World Offshore's Facebook page and YouTube.com and the Florida Keys at 97.7 Sports Radio. Our live stream brought to you by Maximum Inflation, presenting sponsor. Maximum Inflation brand CO2 cartridges, gas for everything inflatable. And you're listening to live coverage here in the Florida Keys on the Lichty Marine broadcast booth. Todd Swafford along with Eric Colby. We'll have the big story recap of all of this after the weekend at speedonthewater.com. We're not quite to the halfway point on our last race today, but there's a lot more racing tomorrow in the Race World Offshore 7-Mile Grand Prix, presented by Teasers Entertainment Complex, Duval Street in Key West. So we look overhead again at Hank Saloon. All these Key West connections to powerboat racing. Hank Saloon, a great saloon in Key West, Florida. Beautiful overhead shot from the X-Insurance helicopter.
Isn't Hank a dog?
Hank is a dog. His picture's on the boat.
There you go.
That's very astute of you. None of that dog stuff doesn't get past you, does it, Eric?
No, and I just got to meet a very cool English bulldog named Bruiser this morning, and he's part of a race team.
Eric likes his bulldogs. All right, here comes Montlick Injury Attorneys again. Boy, that boat is running well. Turn this lap again, right at 84.5 miles an hour. That's lap number 5 of 11. They have that boat hooked up, running smooth. And
are we going to have to break out the minute hand for the next boat here?
Willie and Grant, overhead shot on GC Racing, running in 4th overall here in the class.
The interval's still about the same, 18 seconds to Meade Family.
Yeah, we just watched in front of us, Meade Family coming through in 2nd, so about 18 seconds. And Gladiator Canados, is running in 3rd.
GC is still in 4th, coming past us while we look at the Montlick boat.
Looking across the course from our vantage point, which is kind of what we see. Hank Saloon now just passing by and continuing to run 5th. And if you just popped in or popped away, TS Motorsports went down with a port engine problem.
Yeah,
they had been running 3rd to 2nd, and when they were in 2nd when they broke down.
They were in the process of trying to make a move, I think. But I don't know if anyone's going to have anything for Montlick today unless they have their own gremlins, which no one's wishing. But the boat looks so strong right now.
And a lot of you don't see a lot of this in this type of stock type racing. And for the listeners, for the viewers, if you're not familiar with boat racing, these boats are pretty much identical, and that's what's the appeal of stock racing.
Yeah, you can't go out and make like what the racers call a potato chip. You can't make a super light boat and make that your advantage. They all have to weigh a certain weight coming out after the race, and that's without the crew in it, I believe.
And right now, the only 2 manufacturers making this boat for racing are the MTI, which they led the way with this class until they built it up to get 3 boats and actually have a world championship. And now this thing is built to 6 here racing in Marathon, but there'll definitely be more than that as the season goes on. Certainly 7, maybe 8 in Cocoa Beach.
We've both seen drawings of a statement.
That's true.
That will be running in this class at some point, we hope.
And we know the 151 Express will be back running again. That's an MTI hull.
Yep, that's the first.
That's correct.
That's Taylor and Johnny's first boat, I believe.
And there's Montlick Injury Attorneys continuing to lead just into right at the halfway point of this race off the heart of the Florida Keys. Marathon, Florida. Beautiful vantage point here. Great shots from the X-Insurance helicopter overhead with Parker Lindsay on the camera. And his dad, Rick, doing a great job flying and having great fun.
We see GC here, and this is Willie and Grant's first time racing in the boat. So there's going to be some gelling that needs to take place. Even with someone as seasoned as Grant, he's got to get used to Willie. Every driver's a little different in how he takes a turn. So they're just getting used to each other.
Those guys coming around turn number 2, now in front of the fans on the bay side. Again, these are all stock boats, so everybody's got the same, roughly the same equipment. Generally, you don't see somebody boat race somebody, like they say in America's Cup. Typically pretty close here today. But the one boat that seemed to be chasing your overall leader broke down with a port engine problem, TS Motorsports.
Now let's
Marine
see
Technologies. Here comes Montlick Injury Attorneys around again and continuing to run right there at that 84.5 mile an hour unofficially. And that's lap number 6 of 11 here. And your number 2 boat.
And it looks to me like this.
Meade Family Racing.
It looked like off screen before that maybe Gladiator was trying to make a move, but gosh, Meade Family just stretched this right back out.
They absolutely did.
And it's just like we said before, Sean Torrente has people on land. I actually believe their shore-based communicator is Caleb's dad, because I know he's very involved with the team.
Yeah, the entire family traveling around to be super proud of Caleb. Amazing young man. There's GC Racing holding on to 4th here.
Yep.
Top 4 boats are super close, and here Hank Saloon is just 10 seconds off GC. So 5 boats all pretty close to each other, but certainly way out in front is Montlick Injury Attorneys.
This is basically the halfway point. We're through lap 6, right?
Yes. They're out on lap number 7 of
11.
Overhead, GC Racing. They tweaked up that livery.
Much easier to read.
Super cool livery, though.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite boats. It just looks great in the photos you see around online.
I wonder what the Mercury Racing purists think of the green engines on this boat and on Big East Construction.
I mean, Cole Leibel set the standard with the Chartreuse boat, and he's staying with it. And honestly, as a broadcaster, I love it because you can't miss it. You know it's coming.
There's no denying when that boat's
That's
on the
right.
course.
No mistaking it at all.
It's going to be like that tomorrow, too, with that steel boat. That boat is so red.
Yes, it is.
And Jackhammer's got a new livery that's going to look pretty cool. So
yeah, I haven't seen that yet. You told me. That's fantastic, huh? Different.
Something to do with like a Porsche or orange kind of with the gray. So I think it's going to look pretty cool. The contrast is going to be nice. But speaking of contrast, this boat is contrasting from the rest of the fleet right now. Montlick is just checking out.
Live coverage of the 7 Mile Offshore Grand Prix here on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio from the Lichty Marina Marathon Broadcast Center. Lichty Marina Marathon has new and pre-owned boats and inventory, financing available, and a full service and parts department. Suzuki, Pioneer, Avenger, Bulls Bay, Seabourn, and proud to announce our newest partnership with Yellowfin, the Lichty Marina Marathon Broadcast Center.
And Yellowfin is owned by a parent company called Warbird, and they also build Invincible, and they just opened a factory down in the Yucatan in Mexico, and they bus the employees in and out. They have on-site medical facilities. They have an on-site soccer field. They've just, they had so much problem finding help in the United States that they dedicated to this facility. Oh, is Gladiator possibly down? We're hearing from our behind the scenes. So
we have Race Control reporting that. We'll keep our eye on the live stream screen as we look overhead at Montlick Injury Attorneys. They are smoking this course here today in Marathon and continue to lead after lap number 7. Again, just holding that 3.5-minute lap time pretty much all the way around, and with an 18-second lead on our last lap on Meat Family Racing, looking overhead again as they now approach the fans of the old 7 Mile Bridge as we watch the live stream here on our broadcast.
Now, you said when you talked to Ricky, you talked to him at length, Ricky Maldonado, and you said it kind of seemed like maybe his enthusiasm was back, so to speak.
Yeah, it was a tough year for them, and it started off with some controversy, and it certainly was upsetting to the entire team.
Yeah, because we have not seen Gladiator Canados come by, and here's GC Racing up to third.
So it's official. Gladiator Canados has fallen off the podium, and now GC Racing moves onto it. So 2 MTI boats behind your overall leader, Doug Wright Catamarans.
So attrition
playing its
rearing its
into
head.
it today. Interesting, and the boats, I mean, they have great attitude, sticking to the water well, not bouncing a whole lot, and not having to really push super hard. That is a fantastic shot of a great running boat.
And there's an understated elegance almost to this livery. It's very clean.
It is. It's an amazing boat, too. Get a chance to go down into the dry pits at San Paulo Church and get a close look at this. Look at the reinforced structure around these small windshields that they have, and they're tinted, too. And Ricky says it's just enough that we could see through it. So, I think it was a tough year for them. They really passionate. Doug Wright, Powerboats, is passionate about these boats, in particular this 38 skater. Michel Carcente told me, hands down, he was absolutely impressed with this. That's why he went with them last year.
Yep.
And he's always loved Doug Wright boats. And this is the new generation, the Montlick Injury Attorneys boat that you're seeing Ricky Maldonado and Logan Adon run here today flawlessly in Marathon.
And who kind of spearheaded the whole Doug Wright super stock effort years ago? Gary Ballou.
Gary Ballou did. You're absolutely right.
I believe the predecessor to the Doug Wrights was the Cutting Edge that he and Alan Butler built with Doug Wright. It became Blondie.
And that was one of Gary's boats.
Yep.
He's won over a dozen world championships, 17 national championships. If you want to talk super stock racing, you go talk to Gary Ballou. And one of my all-time favorite people that
and
I've
when
ever
I talked
met.
to him this morning, and you could just hear he and Cole really think they've found something.
As we look at,
Gladiator Canados is
they're down.
Their hatch is up, but they're upright. So they must have just lost. But look at the cowling. I wonder if that was see on that motor. The motor that's closest to you on the screen just looks like it's a little wonky in how it's sitting on the mount.
It does. They've had some mount issues with these 450R boats, but Mercury's come up with a good package. Everybody's very satisfied with them, and also in the 300R engines in Superstock class.
They're still screaming for 15-inch mids, but
back to the start-finish line. We're looking at our overall leader. Montlick Injury Attorneys continuing to lead and continuing to hold that 84-mile-an-hour pace with 4 laps to go here.
Yep. They just started their 8th.
Yeah, so you can see, look at the streamlined windshield here.
Oh, and there's that fixed wing you were talking about, how it extends farther out.
Exactly, and if you get a look at the engines, you'll see some protection built to keep that water flowing into the intakes right at the back of the transom. Almost like a bowl effect that it creates.
It's the stuff you can only learn putting them through this. You're not. You won't learn the same thing with like 4 of them on a center console.
Yeah, and he said they reinforce the stringers on the deck. They make the deck stronger, put them in an X formation. Here comes GC Racing, Willie Cabeza, Grant Brugman as they run in third.
Yeah, the Gladiator Canados is undertow and headed back in. So
2 boats out of today's race.
That's what's on your camera right now. But
right.
That looks to me like something happened because I think there's a cowling gone off the starboard motor. We're going to have to go see them later on to get the full story.
Gladiator Canada.
And you can read about it in speedonthewater.com.
Yeah, Michelle Carcente, Irvin Grant out to second boat out after Marine Technologies TS Motorsports dropped out earlier here today. But Montlick Injury Attorneys continues to lead with 3 laps left here. Mead Family Racing just about 20 seconds off the pace in second. And now in third, another Marine Technologies hull, GC Racing. Get a good look at the back stretch. See X Insurance Helicopter chasing the leader in Montlick Injury Attorneys.
And with about 2.5 laps to go, it's not out of the question that Hanks could end up on the podium.
Oh, absolutely not. Again, Willie and Grant both running very well.
They're on a podium now.
They are. So tomorrow, action gets underway at 11 o'clock. And there'll be some great boats running at 11 in the morning. A remainder bracketed class boats, 4 and the 5s.
But that's the that's the 2s and 3s.
I'm sorry.
That's the loud
Yes,
boys.
you're exactly right.
We got class 2, class 3, and the Super V or the V Extremes.
That's right. Those loud boys, and then the Mod Vs make some good noise too.
Yeah.
They run, so those groups go off 2 different starts, and then at 1:30. The 11 super stock boats that we have run, and at 2:30 the 7 super cats that we have run. Hey, HP Mafia made it.
Yeah, all the way out from Lake of the Ozarks.
And
Anthony and Anthony.
Yeah, those guys were super stoked, and they're like, "We're the only team. We're a 2-man team." He says, "We wash the boat, we set the boat up, father and son, and it's 2 guys and."
Well, they build the motors for CR Racing now, too.
That's right, absolutely.
They took the Sterlings and...
They set them on fire there early, actually. And I mean that they were running fast early on Wednesday in Key West, and then they had a little bit of a heat-up issue, and they got knocked out. But, boy, they did look good early. And here comes Montlick Injury Attorneys, 38 Doug Wright.
Speaking of looking good, my gosh.
Maldonado and Adon continuing to dominate here in the Factory 450 class. Continuing to hold that 84.5 mile an hour pace with no one able to do anything to break in on that lead. 2 laps to go.
I still remember the first interview I did with Logan after he won his first race. They had to go in and get him from the trailer because I think that last year he was, 17, 18? And
Meade Family Racing is not running well. They were all playing. Now they're trying to pick speed up. Might have had a Guardian issue there.
But he comes out, he's munching on a Pop-Tart.
Was he?
I felt bad almost for interrupting his snack, but
to be
he's actually
again.
A very personable kid.
All right, well, so now there's a challenge for third because GC Racing is coming up after what appeared to be a Guardian issue for Meade Family Racing. And as they come through, it's GC Racing with a little bit of extra pace, but on the outside heading towards the bridge. So will they be able to move into second here? And could that be a recurring issue for Torrente and Meade?
Yeah. Grant, it'll be interesting to see if Grant has Willie try to go underneath him to shorten up the course. And he's trying to do just that. And Sean had Caleb slam the door shut, too.
Of course.
And right now, that's what you're seeing. GC Racing just moved to the inside. So now they will have, if they can pull up close enough, they might have position going in. But they said this morning, just because you have the inside lane, if you're coming up from behind, that doesn't mean you own that real estate. Because there's still a boat in front of you. You don't automatically get the lane if you're pulling up from behind the other boat.
So Torrente and Meade, they get it back up and going and off pace a little bit right now. It looks like GC Racing, if they have some disturbed water around, they're going to be careful. Now, a Guardian issue can reoccur easily, and now they're picking their pace back up again.
Yeah, I mean, if it went full Guardian, I think Sean would have to shut it down or restart it.
Correct.
But it might have just kind of been a hiccup.
And it might not. We're speculating.
Yeah.
Initially it looked like, but they sure did get back up on plane pretty quickly, and now can look like they're back on pace, and now have a good 8-boat length lead over GC Racing. There's GC, and back overhead from the X Insurance helicopter of your overall leader, Montlick Injury Attorneys. And we want to say hi to Nikki Montlick. We talked to her yesterday. She and her father, David, will join us tomorrow in the Porte Performance mid-race reports. They're going to be super happy.
Are they based out of near?
They're a nationwide attorney. Just so happens that Nikki lives near J.R. Adon.
Oh, okay.
And they struck up a friendship and started talking about the racing, and they found it very interesting, and they started talking to them and decided to come on as the team sponsor this year.
Good for them.
Injury Attorneys, yeah.
We appreciate anybody coming in to support the sport.
A major national sponsor here for the 38 Doug Wright team.
This is not an easy sport to get support for, as we've seen through the years. So
I think this is a building class. It's a major national class now. And next year, talk about going to the 500 Mercury racing engines, the 4 strokes. And here out for their final lap of the day, and taking about 1 mile an hour off on that lap. Montlick Injury Attorneys continuing to lead. They've taken the lead on lap number 2, and they've continued to hold it there. Out for their final lap to take the checkered flag in the APBA season opener, and what would be the start of a fantastic season for the Doug Wright team and the 38 Doug Wright built catamaran of Maldonado and Adon.
And now Meade looks like they're dropping off plane
again.
Same
place, too.
Same place.
Yep, and this time GC's going to get past them.
Oh, boy.
So Willie Cabeza and Grant Bruggerman now in second place in the factory 450 class.
Starting to look like Key West last year when they ended up winning on the last day, on the last lap.
That's true. Very true.
GC is in second place officially now. They're not going to catch Montlick, but, that's perseverance.
And ladies and gentlemen, Meade is right back up in racing. At this time, they got past, and now Hanks is trying to catch them and get some pace on them. Just saw Hanks pass by, and they're running a close 4th. And now Meade Family Racing back to 3rd. As GC Racing goes around. They're going to, if you look overhead, definitely some damage.
Yeah, that motor is, well, it's trimmed up all the way. So that, yeah.
And we had
we'll find out.
We had a fleeting look, and there was definitely some damage.
Michel's usually pretty forthcoming. He doesn't try to hide anything. So.
Oh, no. He's a veteran racer. He's been coming to the United States for decades racing. He raced in the factory classes back in 2001.
And he raced, Super V with Mike Siebold, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure he raced with Siebold, but he may have. He definitely was in the Fountain camp, the Reggie Fountain camp. They won a couple of championships at the highest level in Super V in Key West.
He also owned Yachts International magazine for many years.
That was one of the sponsors of the boat. We see the Mead family racing team with Torrente and Mead.
Yep.
Caleb Mead now back up on pace again. They're in third place. Yeah, and he raced XCAT for Lux Media for many years. And he just said, I wanted to get back into a competitive class. He didn't feel the XCAT was super competitive. It was dominated by the Victory team. And he said, I could come here and I can buy the same boat. And he really believes strongly in this factory 450R class. And he's a great asset to have, an international racer, the Frenchman, Michel Carcente. And we're welcome to see him here and wish him more luck as the season goes on this year. And here comes your final pass.
This should be a checkered flag.
It should be a checkered flag for Montlake Injury Attorneys to open the American Powerboat Association season at the 7 Mile Offshore Grand Prix presented by Race World Offshore. What a fantastic day for this 38 Doug Wright catamaran with Ricky Maldonado on the throttles and Logan Adon on the wheel. Montlake Injury Attorneys to take the checker flag in front of the fans here in the heart of the Florida Keys Marathon in the Factory 450 class. What a day today.
Not bad for a kid who was racing dirt track cars a couple years ago. I think he still is.
Oh, I'm sure he is. you don't take the boy out of the boy.
I mean, you still have NASCAR guys.
Absolutely.
They go out and race dirt tracks on the off days. So let's see who.
Good group of guys to hang out. Enjoyed talking to them, and they were super proud of the new 38 design, Doug Wright, and it lived up to everything, all the billing today here as they win the Marathon 7 Mile Offshore Grand Prix.
How big of a sigh of relief do you think Ricky's taking right now?
Oh, yeah, it's everything that he could want as we look overhead. And GC Racing, they're poised to take second place, the new partnership of Willie Cabeza and Grant Bruggeman.
I wonder if Willie will say yabba dabba doo.
The second place goes to the Marine Technologies hull, the 39 MTI. Second place here today, and then another MTI will take
Family
third,
Racing.
and they'll finish up in third. Caleb Mead and Sean Torrente, they were in the lead for a lap.
Yep.
And Hank Saloon with Nelson Sawyer out of Key West and Edwin Shear out of Miami, they take third in another 38 Doug Wright. So 2 Doug Wrights in the top 4, 2 Marine Technology holes in the top 4. But Montlake Injury Attorneys, they what a show today for them as they win here in the Factory 450 class. Of course, it's unofficial until it's posted on the website, but it
because the class does have post-race tech inspection.
Of course,
they have
as
to go through.
And all do. And
let's see if they come back to get their flag or if they just go back to the docks. Right now, there looks like that's GC Racing.
Yeah, it looks like Montlake is kind of coming off plane. I haven't seen them turn to the infield yet. They're getting away from that flat right now, and they could probably start to turn in. Yes, because they had to get away. They had to get away from the flat that is on that side of the course of the inside. Yeah, and we get a good look there at this brand new livery. Brand new hull from Doug Wright Catamarans.
Yeah, because during the drivers' meeting, they kept saying, if you want to come in and hook it hard past the buoy, and I was like, don't. Hook is a bad word. Yeah. So I'm glad no one tried to hook it hard past the buoy to get to the infield.
And I'm glad to see the field come here. This is I've been all over the country and some parts of the world to watch racing. And, Key West, it's nothing like it. It's as close as you're going to get to the boats. This new reset of this course here in Marathon that Larry Blau of Race World Offshore put together, it is fantastic. I mean, right here from the park by the old 7 Mile Bridge, you get an amazing view of these boats, very close, and out there on the restored old 7 Mile span.
So do you think? What do you think the feelings are? Redemption?
Yeah, look at that double fist.
Yeah, that's Ricky, because Ricky came out of the left side of the boat. So
yeah, they're both out on the.
Yeah, there was some redemption in that fist thrust.
Well, they proved that boat to be very dominant here today, as Logan Adon takes the checkered flag.
I'm surprised we haven't heard that someone bought the red boat, just because that was so successful last year.
And they may have, or it may just be in the process of being sold or for sale. And Logan Adon hoisting the checkered flag, Montlake Injury Attorneys.
And the divers, they just dropped the divers so they could cool off.
And the racing is done for today, but the program here on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio from the Lichty Marina Marathon Broadcast Center will continue on. Of course, a lot to recap because we've got a full day of racing on Sunday, as these boats will come out in 3 different starts, starting at 11 o'clock tomorrow, and then again at 1:30 and 12:30. And we'll recap that for you in the Porte Performance Mid-Race Reports right here as we continue on. Thanks for joining us here at Race World Offshore's Facebook page and also at youtube.com from the Maximum Inflation live stream. Maximum Inflation brand CO2 cartridges, gas for everything inflatable. And you can refill your cartridges at West Marine, Cabela's, and Bass Pro stores to rearm those life jackets.
And this is when they do this is their impression of like the burnouts that the NASCAR guys do. They kind of do little donuts and trim the motors out a little bit to let them spit.
Yes.
Not a lot of burnout you can do in a boat.
Well, the checkered flag trailing out of the cockpit off the hatch. Big day for Montlake Injury Attorneys team. The 38 Doug Wright, spectacular performance and a win today for Maldonado and Adon. Big win for Team Doug Wright. We'll be back with more from the Lichty Marina Marathon Broadcast Center and wrap up our live stream here shortly. Tell you what's in store for us tomorrow as we watch your winner today in the Factory 450R class. The Montlake Injury Attorney teams drive off the screen. Back with more on the Zone 97.7 Sports Radio.